On the Bash at the Beach admission fee, the rookies took center stage. The Rookies Showcase between Takahashi and the randomly chosen Little Dragon was meant to bring the house down at GAW's first ever truly live event. But it was Franky Omega Jr. that spoiled the party, attacking Little Dragon and taking his spot in the match. Omega was able to cheat to get a win over the only undefeated man in the Rookie of the Year competition. So where does that leave us now? Franky Omega Jr., incredibly dangerous, still out there, and no one knows where he is. The Little Dragon slated to compete tonight as the Rookie of the Year competition resumes. We only have a few weeks left of competition until we determine the next man headed to Evolution. Man, I honestly don't know what to tell you. You feeling okay? I got you in the main event, so you should have a little bit more time to just sort of rest up. I mean, you know, try to do what you can. I mean, we all saw what happened, so I wish I could do more for you. I wish we could find Franky. I even tried, like, no one can reach his dad. I mean, that's gone. That's way the hell out there. But I wish I could do something for you, man. Just do what you can. Try to get ready. I mean, it's Raymond Church, so at least we've seen him enough. You kind of know what to expect. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm here for you. And we'll see what we can do, man. Welcome to Rookie of the Year as the competition resumes after Bash at the Beach. And if you were not with us on the admission fee, boy, did you miss one of the most important events that has ever taken place here for the rookies. It was supposed to be Takahashi versus Little Dragon in the Rookie Showcase. Instead, it was Franky Omega Jr. attacking the Little Dragon before that match, taking his place and then beating Takahashi. So now as competition resumes, there is so much mystery around. Stormsong to many has been the surprise of the competition so far. His ability, his effectiveness has blown a lot of people away. But if you ask some of the talent scouts and coaches around GAW, including the legendary Yuji Nagata, who found Wolf Stormsong, they'll tell you this was always expected out of this young man. They'll tell you about his physical ability, the fact that he plays with a chip on his shoulder, so to speak, and he has certainly shown that. A 2-1 record for Stormsong. That's good for second on Team Hernandez. Of course, Takahashi standing at 3-0 right now in the competition. The only undefeated man so far. But what was so intriguing about what happened between Franky Omega Jr. and the Little Dragon is that, of course, Franky Omega Jr. defeated Takahashi. So now you have someone out there who would be considered a rookie who has a win over the incredibly deadly, respected Takahashi. He has earned the respect of a lot in this competition. But let's not bury the lead. One of the biggest concerns coming into tonight is whether Team Andrews can really recover from what's been a lackluster first couple weeks of the competition for them. Apex champion Derek Cole even called them out on it. He called Kurt Andrews out specifically that his team wasn't getting the job done. Let's see if they can respond. Team Andrews has a 7-11 record. Hernandez, of course, the perfect opposite at 11-7. And Wolf Stormsong getting things started, trying to outstrike Leon Redgrave. Widely considered the best striker, the best pure striker in this competition. Early cover here from Stormsong. Kick out at 1. from Redgrave. Redgrave, of course, had that incredible match with Ryan Skinner a couple weeks ago. The #1 overall pick still has yet to put up a win so far in this competition. One of the most surprising things that's happened so far in Rookie of the Year. We're actually going to get to see Skinner a little later on. He's going to be fighting Dorian Wayne Bush, also from Team Hernandez. So lots on the line here for Team Hernandez. Of course, as Eddie himself mentioned earlier on, main event will be the Little Dragon against Raymond Church. Stormsong. Beautiful springboard moonsault. He's going to go for a second one. He connects. That one off the middle rope. Stormsong is going to go for a third. Stormsong off the very top. Triple moonsault. Can someone say super crazy? Wolf, Stormsong, cover. Kick out at 1, Redgrave. As tough as they get is the man from Birmingham, Leon Redgrave. We heard Stormsong a couple weeks ago before he prepared to take on Takahashi. Stormsong, you could tell, had a chip on his shoulder, and he's showing it right now against Redgrave. Again, a man who maybe a lot of people wouldn't have given Stormsong a chance against, but the Fisherman's Buster. That'll put Redgrave down in his place. This is a terrific performance here from Stormsong. The Hurricane takes Redgrave down, and Stormsong follows it up. Springboard 450. Stormsong hooks the leg. It's Wolf Stormsong. He's got it. What a performance. That is as comprehensive of a victory as you could want. Wolf Stormsong. That's about as good as it gets. And for Eddie Hernandez, he's got to be happy with how Stormsong is performing. If you're Kurt Andrews, might be starting to get a little bit concerned.
I took your heart, I did things to you only lovers would do in the dark. I made you a god. Priest, popes, and preachers were down.
Well, if Wolf Stormsong is considered the biggest surprise of this tournament, Chris Alexa may be around that area between Stormsong going on an absolute tear and Ryan Skinner failing to pick up a win. Right in there is Chris Alexa, who has looked fantastic so far in this tournament. The 1-2 record, not really indicative of how good Alexa has been. Hernandez picked him specifically because he has been in GAW the longest of all of the rookies. He actually got here last season, was dealing with injuries that prevented him from competing for most of the season, but he's been in GAW for almost a year now, has Chris Alexa, which means that he's been around GAW coaches, he's been around GAW trainers, and as any of you who watches, for example, professional football knows, the more you're around greatness, the more you're around the guys that you will be competing against, the better you get. Iron sharpens iron, as they say, and almost no one has been sharpened as well as Chris Alexa.
Pop full of them bad, cause I be killing it. Play around with them bad, cause I be killing it. I don't think I'm stand, cause I be killing it. I take your girl, cause I be killing it. Pop full of them bad, cause I be killing it. Play around with them bad, cause I be killing it.
Adonis Carter, say it every time, one of the most talented men in this competition. You'll notice who is not with Adonis here tonight. It is, of course, his uncle and mentor, Satan Cedric, but that doesn't mean that we don't get to hear from him here really quickly. Is the underground legend. I couldn't be with Adonis Carter tonight simply because I had other business arrangements to take care of, and I trust that boy to take care of his business, and I know he will. And as for you, Franky Omega Jr., I know you're around here. You try to intimidate me, you try to intimidate my boy, see what happens. Well, thank you for that, Satan. As he says, not here dealing with other business arrangements. This will be his first time not accompanying Adonis Carter to the ring. Could that play a factor? Chris Alexa hoping it will off that lariat. Carter kicks out. These are two very athletic young men. Of course, Adonis Carter, named as the most athletic man in this competition. That is basically agreed upon broadly by GAW coaches. They love this guy coming in because of his raw athleticism, and we're getting to see it now. It's not just the speed, it's not just the vertical, it's the stamina, it's the core strength. All of that creates the Adonis Carter package, as it were. But this is something that we don't normally see from Adonis Carter. The submission, it's a tequila sunrise from the extremely talented man out of Chicago. I would imagine that this is Satan Cedric's doing. Beautiful job by Chris Alexa to post up off the ground so that he can get out of that hold. But I would imagine it was Satan Cedric that's been working on Adonis to improve his submission game. When you go to the show in GAW, you cannot afford to have a weakness. It will be exploited. No weakness here for Carter, standing 450. He had a 47-inch vertical working out in GAW, and now we're seeing the incredible striking prowess that he also possesses. Spinning heel kick takes Alexa down and connected flush. Carter, no! Carter's heel connected right above Alexa's eye, and you can see the blood already. Carter knew exactly what he was doing, and now there will be more here from Carter if he can land it. Carter, he was looking for Chicago Masterclass, but Chris Alexa had it scouted all the way. Alexa straight into the cover. He's not gonna fool Carter with that one. Chris Alexa saw that one coming. Alexa with the DDT. This is the problem with getting all of the plaudits that Adonis Carter has gotten. You are the one being circled on everyone's schedule. You knew that Chris Alexa was waiting for this match because he knows that he can make a name for himself by beating Adonis Carter. Let's see if he can do it. As we know from Alexa, he delivers a vicious spear as a tribute to his favorite wrestler of all time, Edge. Another cover here from Alexa, kick out and one from Carter. Alexa has also commandeered the mandible claw, which he used to beat Marlon Wright in the first week, and now he's gonna get it on Carter. Carter, he's holding that wrist off. Alexa's not able to lock it in quite yet, but it's close. Alexa, he's putting all of his weight onto it, and Adonis Carter able to wrestle him off finally. Alexa doing what he needs to do, taking advantage. Carter was just able to fight off the mandible claw, but only barely. Now Carter returns fire on Alexa. Backs him up with an elbow. This has been part and parcel of what Alexa has done so far in this competition. He has delivered some incredible contests, most recently with Marlon Wright. Now he's doing the same with Carter, and Adonis Carter. Seated moonsault, courtesy of a Mr. Rob Van Dam, but is it gonna get the job done for Carter? No! Carter can't quite believe it, but we know that Adonis Carter has more in the tank, and once again, Alexa fans on the right hand, and Adonis Carter, he's going to work. Another spinning heel kick to the exact same area that was busted open earlier. And now Adonis Carter, he's gonna go for it a second time. Carter, Chicago Masterclass. Carter hooks the leg, and Adonis Carter escapes from this match, but what a performance by Chris Alexa. Probably the best 1-3 record we've seen so far. Chris Alexa, he just took Adonis Carter to the absolute limit. But Adonis Carter, even without the help of Satan Cedric in his corner, Adonis Carter gets the win. Come on, man. Rivalry is one thing, but you would tell me if you knew where Franky Omega Jr. was, right? You would tell me. Yes, I would tell you. I don't like that little shitbag any more than you do. Why don't I believe you? I don't know, Eddie. You got some trust issues or something? I'm telling you, if I knew where he was, I'd tell you where he is. We all remember what happened in the Storm Chaser tournament. And you know that some kid, what would he would have been at that time? 15, 16? He would have been watching what Lancelot did, and he'd just be thinking, oh, I can do that better. I know how these guys think. So yes, I would tell you where he is, because I'm not going to have him come in here and mess up my competition. All right. I'm going to believe you for now, but I swear, if that dude shows up, if I find out you were involved, Kurt, you and I, we're going to have some words. We're going to have some problems.
Right, yeah.
Real scared of you,
Again.
Eddie. How'd that match with Braddock go? I'll tell you how it did not go. It did not go the same way that Adonis Carter just absolutely ramshackled Chris Alexa. That's an interesting way to put probably Adonis's toughest match in the tournament so far. Yeah, say what you want. I knew he had it under control the whole time. And by the way, my man, Satan Cedric, he's doing my business for me. Can you just give me a little bit of insight about what that business might be? Eddie, you dumber than you look, pal. Of course I can't give you insight into what my business is going to be. How stupid are you? I just want to ask you one question. It's not about Satan Cedric. It's not about Adonis Carter. It's not about Franky Omega Jr. I just want to ask you straight up, man to man, competitor to competitor. We all heard what Derek Cole said to you a couple weeks ago. Have you actually done anything different with your team? Are you trying to do different things? Are you trying to coach them? Are you trying to do anything to try to get some more out of your guys? Eddie, I would not be a two-time Academy champion. I would not be a legend of the underground if I started sharing my secrets and mentality with other people. So that's rule number one. But I will tell you this. I have had to look in. I have had to do a little bit of soul searching to find out if maybe I was doing something wrong. Specifically when it comes to Ryan Skinner, we all know that he has not been the sort of guy that we all expected him to be. So I have examined it. I've looked at it. I've thought about it. That's as much as I'm going to tell you. And you'll find out when one of my guys wins Rookie of the Year and heads up to Evolution. You'll also find out when I'm holding the Apex Championship once again. I'm sure Derek Cole would love to hear you say that. What? Throats as always. What more could we expect from those two at this point? But at least we got a little bit of valuable insight to the mentality, at least, of team captain Kurt Andrews. And he makes a good point that he has had so much success in his career, not only in GAW, but across the underground. And so obviously this is not a guy who hasn't thought about the intricacies of professional wrestling, thought about this sport at a deeper level, and could therefore translate it to the other guys that he is trying to train, that he's trying to breed to become competition winners, to become GAW's next superstars. So obviously he's the kind of guy who could do that. The question is, will he? And sort of the broader question, just because you can, doesn't necessarily mean that you'd be good at translating that into words, into coaching. We've seen that time and time again with great athletes in various sports that didn't make great coaches, because sometimes you can't just translate it to teaching. So the question is, can Kurt Andrews do it? And this is the guy that I think is going to be patient zero for whether or not Kurt Andrews can make that kind of adjustment, because Ryan Skinner has been incredibly disappointing so far in this competition. So the question about Kurt Andrews will be summed up in whether Ryan Skinner can figure his stuff out.
And you always took my humbleness for granted, but I know worth, you can't take that away from me. And I know you think I still can take advantage, but it hasn't worked out like you fucking planned it. 'Cause I know my worth, you can't take that away from me.
Meanwhile, Dorian Wayne Bush came in as one of the most polished men in this competition, and that seemed to be sort of the direction that Eddie Hernandez wanted to go in. He took Dorian Bush, knowing that he was as polished as he is. He took Chris Alexa, knowing that Alexa was the most experienced man in terms of GAW experience in this competition. He took the oldest man in the competition in Takahashi, who's 25 years old, the oldest man competing. So Eddie Hernandez going a completely different route. You know that Ryan Skinner is going to be desperate in this one. Immediately Bush backs him up with those strikes. Dorian Bush with the tornillo. There's going to be no one out here as desperate to get a win as Ryan Skinner is. Kick out at 1. So many expectations placed on the head of Skinner, whether it was because he was the #1 pick or because he comes from such a famous underground wrestling family. Skinner was expected to be one of the guys in this competition, and so far, it just hasn't added up for him. Well, that leads us perfectly into the official Ryan Skinner scouting report, as always put together by GAW head coach Lance Storm. First thing that jumps off the page, Ryan Skinner, a plus striker. It was Skinner, Redgrave, and Takahashi that were recognized as the top 3 strikers coming in this competition. So far, Skinner has not done a great job of leveraging that striking power. To go along with that, Storm says his biggest weakness is in the grappling game. Skinner is a minus grappler, according to GAW coaches. Tremendous technician, great knowledge when it comes to the actual grappling aspect. That is Skinner's biggest weakness. And then Storm did mention that he just has a lack of experience, which can help in certain circumstances. He doesn't get too much into his own head, but on the other hand, he is prone to becoming too emotional in matches. That's what Lance Storm told me, and we've seen that so far with Skinner. So this is a good test for him, going against one of the more experienced men, to see if Skinner can actually, instead of staying out of his own head, can he get into his own head and start making adjustments on the fly? I think that's what he's going to have to do here against Dorian Bush. Bush, who has been one of the stories so far of this competition. Bush, Escalera, Bush with a beautiful twisting senton. Skinner able to duck underneath the knife edge chop. That was coming in hard. But Ryan Skinner, we mentioned that the weakness is in his grappling, but he's already making improvements in that area. As you can see, Kurt Andrews, not a bad man to learn from in that respect. Andrews is a terrific grappler. Bush able to sidestep, but he walks right into the waiting arms of Skinner, who once again drives him down with the inverted suplex. And now Skinner, up to the top he goes. Ryan Skinner, flying leg drop from the top, and a great cover as well. High stack, Ryan Skinner, he's got his first win. We've seen him try the Skin Alive, the Wasteland drop, neither of those has worked. So Skinner went for something completely unexpected, the diving leg drop, and he connected flush. There's no way Dorian Bush expected that from Ryan Skinner. But the man from the Wastelands, the #1 overall pick, finally has his first win in the competition. And if you're Kurt Andrews, you have got to be absolutely overjoyed to see that from Skinner. Wait, we got breaking news. I gotta take you backstage now. This is the scenes. The Little Dragon. I think we know who must have done this. Let's just cut straight to the chase. I think Franky Omega Jr. is in this building. The Little Dragon has been laid out unconscious backstage. This is just moments ahead of what was supposed to be the main event between the Little Dragon and Raymond Church. That is now completely up in the air. We'll see what our trainers say about the state of the Little Dragon. But we do take you now to highlights of the two matches we did not see here on this fourth week of competition. We begin with the only undefeated man in this competition, Takahashi versus Marlon Wright. Wright put up a hell of a fight, as he always does, but Takahashi was just too good. His reach was too long, and he's too good of a striker for Marlon Wright to overcome. Takahashi catches Wright coming in. Vicious right hook puts Marlon Wright to sleep, and Takahashi stays undefeated at 4-0. But Dr. Plague, now after the Ryan Skinner victory, the only man to not have a win so far in this competition. Could that change against Dash Foley? Well, the answer for a lot of people, surprisingly, was yes. Dash Foley considered to be maybe the dark horse of this competition, but Dr. Plague's size was just too much. We know that Foley employs the 6-shooter, but Plague just too big to get up in the air, and then Dr. Plague with the Black Plague puts Dash Foley away. Plague is on the board, and now every competitor in Rookie of the Year has at least one win. So obviously some questions abound, as now Ryan Skinner still tied for last place. And as we know, the bottom two do not make it to the final knockout tournament. Why'd you do it, Franky? Why did you attack Little Dragon? What did he do to you? What do you got against him? Those must have been the same questions my uncle got over a year ago. My uncle Lancelot worked his way into the Storm Chaser tournament. He was obviously the greatest on the planet. But for some reason, he was not included in the field, so he made it happen himself. So isn't it obvious? Isn't it so blatantly obvious why I had to do the same thing to get in this? They told me, they told my dad that maybe it would be next year. Maybe if I just spent another year in training. Maybe if I just sat back and learned and watched, then maybe I would be in this competition later. Maybe I could work my way up. There is no working my way up, because you can't work your way to the top when you already sit on the throne. I was born and raised alongside some of the greatest wrestlers of all time. We had all the money in the world, and yet I was put on the streets when I was 12 to fend for myself, because that's what makes the greatest wrestlers on earth. And GAW still doesn't recognize that. So I had to make it myself. So just like my uncle did 18 months ago, I'm telling you, not asking, telling, Franky Omega Jr. is going to be in the main event. Franky Omega Jr. is going to fight and defeat Raymond Church. Franky Omega Jr. is on Team Eddie Hernandez. Franky Omega Jr. will be the Rookie of the Year. We're done here.
Welcome to our realization. We can prepare to kill the operation. It ain't fair, but I feel it be the nation. So raise the flag and do the preparation.
Oh my God. Something told me that someone would try to replicate what Lancelot did during the Storm Chaser tournament, but I had no idea that it would actually work. Franky Omega truly has given us no choice, because he's out here. What else is supposed to happen? Who do we even go to? We're gonna have to bring this up with Jason Parker. We're gonna have to talk to somebody, because Franky Omega Jr. has shown a reckless disregard for the other men in this competition, as well as a brutal killer instinct. Nobody is safe.
got a bottle of Patron and some lights off. Two red devil looking eyeballs, and I'm finna turn up when the night falls. If you hear a siren, then it's my fault. Jump in my whip, baby, let's ride.
I mean, I guess you gotta give it to Raymond Church. He looks not even at all fazed by Franky Omega Jr. I'm not even sure if Raymond Church knew who he was supposed to face tonight. I'm actually not sure if Raymond Church even knows that Franky Omega Jr. isn't in this competition. It's one of his strengths and one of his weaknesses simultaneously. He seems to just show very little care or concern for anything outside of his personal bubble. They talk about athletes having tunnel vision, and Raymond Church, I mean, he's got cave vision. So it could help him in this match. He will not be intimidated by Franky Omega Jr., but that doesn't mean that the rest of us can't be. Because Franky Omega Jr. now walking into this competition, and whether or not he's allowed to stay, he could, after tonight, amass 2 victories against 2 of the top young rookies in the competition so far. Already defeating Takahashi on the admission fee during the rookie showcase when he also took out the Little Dragon, who tried to heroically fight through his injuries here tonight. But then Franky Omega Jr. coming and finishing the job. It's absolutely disgusting. This might be the only time that many of us are rooting for Raymond Church. But Franky Omega Jr. should not be rewarded for what he did in Church, showcasing that athleticism already. We saw him do it a few weeks ago. Church, one of the best athletes in the competition, missile drop kick, and he hit the deck. Franky Omega going straight into the cover. Church kicks out at 1. Omega saw that missile drop kick coming all the way. So I guess the question is, what happens here if Franky Omega Jr. is to win this match? Is he going to take over for the Little Dragon in this competition? Raymond Church, he's gonna fly Church through the ropes with a Hurricane Rana. There is no stopping this young man. I can't even comprehend all of the various possibilities that exist for Franky Omega Jr. at this point. Even if he loses, oh my God. I mean, if Raymond Church wins, does he get the points? I mean, technically Little Dragon was supposed to be in this match. So does Raymond Church get the points here? I don't know. There's gonna be a lot to hash out after tonight, but the important thing here is that Franky Omega Jr. has just taken out one of our competitors. And Raymond Church, 2 brain busters on the outside. He has not moved of his own will since then. Finally, Church able to get some life into him. Climbing into the ring, Franky Omega Jr. waiting for him, but Church is gonna fly! Raymond Church! Could it be a little bit of possum there from Church? And now, he's got more backbreaker. Raymond Church has taken Franky Omega Jr. off of his feet. Kick out at 2. Wow. I never expected that from Church. Moonsault, nobody home. Franky Omega has been all over Raymond Church when he takes to the skies. And now Omega making something else. It's a neck breaker. Church was hung up in the ropes. Franky Omega Jr. once again makes him pay for missing off the top. But again, a quick kick out from Raymond Church. Omega wearing what looks like claws on his fingers, by the way. I don't know how that's legal. He went down low against Church, able to fire back, and now Raymond Church. Show-stopping number from Raymond Church. Somehow he's done it in Church. He can do it right here against Omega. No! I thought that was it. Raymond Church, he's got to do more. Church, what's he thinking? Omega went for the eyes. Franky Omega with those claws on. He went straight for Raymond Church's eyes because of course he did. And now Omega, he's got him up. Omega theory.
1, 2.
Franky Omega Jr. once again has to resort to the sturdiest of tactics. Franky Omega Jr., are you kidding me? Absolutely disgusting from the man who's not even in this competition. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else there is to say. There will be questions that need answering now about Franky Omega Jr. Manages to steal the win from Church, but there is so much more to discuss. We leave you with the standings now. I don't know what to do about the Little Dragon and Franky Omega Jr. All I know is Takahashi still at 4-0, leads the competition. No man winless after Skinner and Dr. Plague both pick up victories. Team Andrews looking better. And there's just so much more to come from this competition. So make sure you subscribe, folks. We're not even halfway through Rookie of the Year, and already it has heated to a boiling point. We'll see you on Friday for Storm. We appreciate you.
Welcome to reality, there's no